2013 sucked for games, and I can think of at least 10 reasons why. Now, the same rule as always, no easy targets. Movie tie-in games, kids games, motion-controlled games, but aside from those, these are the top 10 worst games of 2013. Now let me explain. I actually like Battlefield. For online multiplayer shooters, it's my game of choice. But good God, did DICE and EA mess up on this one. Since the day it launched, Battlefield 4 has been plagued with bugs and balancing issues. It's a sad time when the most enjoyable part of the game is having the loading screen succeed and actually get into a server. And from there, it's just a gamble to see how long before Battlefield crashes and you have to restart. That's not just the multiplayer either. Even the single player has game crashes forcing a restart. I know it's come to be expected that DICE games are inherently fun, but buggy as hell at launch. But Battlefield 4 is the worst example of this. Listen, when you have to cease development on all of your precious DLC just to focus on fixing the game first, you did something wrong. Want a remake you didn't know you wanted? Well, joke's on you! Nobody wanted this! The original Flashback is clunky but charming in its own right. This remake is a broken mess that strips away everything that made the original game fun. Awkward animations and cutscenes, stilted dialogue, and broken mechanics ruin what should have been something competent. Hey, let's throw some bugs in there too! Like not being able to walk properly, or not having the camera follow you anymore. And if bugs aren't enough, let's top it off with a poor design choice by making the combat the worst thing ever. The controls actually work fine, but every single enemy soaks way too many bullets before dying. But hey, at least the original version is in this game. No, wait, they f***ed that up too. Much like Battlefield 4, SimCity really should have been a decent game. It's like they have a common factor or something. The multiplayer neighborhoods is actually a fun idea, and working together to a mutually beneficial goal is pretty cool. But the extremely limited area you have to actually build a city quickly plateaus any fun you could have in building anything. And the limited amount of zones available, plus not being able to terraform the landscape, truly limits what you can do. Designing a city is made to be a lot more functional, yes, but you lose a lot of creativity. Everything needs to be connected by a road, like a leash stopping you from branching out too far. And yes, the most obvious problem, the DRM requirement of always having to be online. This ruined the game at launch because it didn't work at all. I haven't played it since then, so maybe it's better, but it's too late. I was burned too badly. Much like this neighborhood. Mobile games get a bad rep. There are some really good ones out there. And then there are games like Final Fantasy All the Bravest that destroys hope for decent mobile games. Or even hope for a decent Final Fantasy game again. Bare bones doesn't even begin to describe the gameplay. You have a party of 30 characters, all with different jobs, and you attack by touching them. But you can't select who they attack, and their jobs don't mean anything because they all have some form of attack, and the game is devoid of strategy and tactics. And fun. Its biggest crime is how it tries to get money out of you. If a party member dies, you have to wait 3 real-world minutes for them to revive. That means if your party completely wipes, you have to wait an hour and a half. But hey, it's cool! You can spend a few bucks to revive them instantly. Every time. Oh man, want up to 35 iconic Final Fantasy characters on your team? Yes, that sounds cool. And they only cost $1 each. And they're randomly picked for you every time. And the game already costs $4 to purchase beforehand. That's just dirty, Square. Just dirty. Act like you didn't see this one coming. I'm going to ignore all of the target renders and bold-faced lies that the preview demonstrations showed about Aliens Colonial Marines, and instead focus entirely on what the game is, not what it should have been. And the game is poop. The single-player game sucks. It's extremely short with hilariously bad AI enemies, an awful story with terrible characters, and a non-existent challenge. What's the point of having terrifying aliens if they die after a few bullets? And what's the point of an aliens game if you're going to spend 2/3 of the game shooting other dudes with guns? The one thing it had going for it is playing as an alien in the multiplayer mode, and even that sucks. It's confusing, disorienting, and unreliable, and it has the audacity of having a season pass, as if anyone would actually be willing to spend more money on DLC for something this unfinished. You know what's pretty cool? Vampire the Masquerade. What's not cool is this game, Dark, because it tries way too hard to be Vampire the Masquerade. It's a third-person stealth action game that's so poorly executed, it's just laughable. I mean, like, genuinely laughable. You can use your vampire powers against enemies, and by that I mean gently give them a hickey until they pass out. There isn't much reason to stealth around when you can just punch people once and instantly kill them. Of all the games on this list, Dark is the only game that is funny bad, because it tries to take itself so seriously as a vampire noir. And you can't with this, you just can't! Listen to some of the dialogue!
Did I come to the club alone, or was someone with me?
No idea. My shift had only just begun.
But that's not as good as this.
Pretty.
But my favorite one is this one.
Tom, show him.
Hey, neat trick, man.
What?
Seriously, if you want to have a good laugh with your buddies, play this game. You will laugh, you will cry, but you will mostly laugh. When the only good thing you've got going for you is the menu song, reconsider the existence of your game. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows even tries to be good by ripping off the combat system of the Batman Arkham games, and it does so without the finesse, rhythm, style, or fun. There are entire forum posts dedicated on how fans can mod the game to make it more playable. But you can keep on polishing a turd until it shines, but then you just have a shiny turd. There is nothing to like about this game. Unless you like running around and pretending to be an airplane.
That's exactly what it looks like.
Remember when Double Dragon Neon came out and everybody was all like, sweet! And then Double Dragon 2 Wander of the Dragons came out and completely undid all of the good that Neon accomplished? Not a whole lot of people know about this Double Dragon 2 remake, and it's better that way. It went silent for a couple of years, only to resurface when the vastly superior Neon was released. And you know how you go to the movie stores and you see those rip-off movies right next to the big releases? Like Transmorphers or Atlantic Rim? Double Dragon 2 Wander of the Dragons is the video game manifestation of that. It just hopes to trick people into buying it thinking it's Double Dragon Neon. Instead, you get one butt-ugly game with its own gameplay mechanics completely failing. Imprecise control and a beat-em-up is just a guaranteed disaster. It's a beat-em-up that has a stamina bar. The meter that builds your special moves disappears for no reasons, and sometimes the special moves come back for no reason. But don't use a special move once at all in the entire game, or you get the bad ending. It's so bad. I can't. Day one, Gary's incident is really, really bad. Day one, Gary's incident is really, really bad. Day one, Gary's incident is really, really bad, and I want to kill myself. Okay, so I always heard that this game was bad, but I didn't know that it was this bad. The first thing you'll notice is that it looks like a game that came out in 2006 instead of 3 months ago. And even though it's out, the game is so unfinished. It's just missing things, like sound effects. Or enemy AI, or a purpose for existing. The second thing you'll notice is that this game is hilariously buggy. You'll just be walking along when suddenly, oh, this girl stole my water flask? Not on my watch! Oh. And apparently people don't bleed. They just kind of spark and then they fall over. And then I died, I guess. There is no indication of you getting hurt. While Dark is funny for taking itself too seriously, this game is just funny for being awful. It's so embarrassingly bad that the developer started taking down YouTube videos criticizing the game for how bad it is. So if this video suddenly disappears, you'll know why. It's just atrocious. Day one, what do you have to say for yourself?
Uh-oh.
I didn't actually play this game until a few days ago, mostly because it was easily the most suggested worst game of the year to me. And to those people who said that I should play this, f you! F you! You were right! Right to Hell Retribution isn't just bad, it's goddamn offensive. It may not be as buggy or as unpolished as the others, but its own design and concept makes it terrible. Literally the first thing you do, the absolute first thing you do after starting the game is a turret section. A turret section! The game mostly consists of driving around on your bike with a lot of nothing happening to get to a story bit, then driving around some more, and then maybe punching some dudes. Combat consists of clicking a button over and over until you win. Almost no strategy is required. Sometimes you need to do this on your motorcycle, where you punch them until their bike explodes. This is another one of those games that tries way too hard to make their main character cool. I mean, I guess I'm glad I got to see him ride a motorcycle, stab a man, then cut him, then stab him again, twist the knife, and then stand up to break his neck to finish him off. Much like Day 1, this game is missing a lot of vital sound effects. It makes a lot of Ride to Hell's cutscenes play out very awkwardly to the point where you're uncomfortable. I swear to God, I did not alter any of this footage. The most disgusting part is how nearly every single woman in this game is used as an object. If there's a woman in here and she needs help, your reward is having sex with her without explanation. It makes the hot coffee mod look erotic by comparison. Ever wanted to see two fully dressed expressionless mannequins have sex with each other? Well, here you go. Wait, how are you even having sex right now? You're both fully clothed. She is wearing a jumpsuit. Is there a butt flap on the jumpsuit? I don't remember seeing a butt flap. This is the face of a woman in ecstasy. I can't believe I actually played this game.
Can you believe that asshole?
I'm not gonna lie, it was way easier to think of bad games for this list than good games for 2013. But you know what? 2014 is right around the corner, and I still have positivity for that year, so here's to 2014 in gaming. This enthusiasm's gonna last like a month.